So today we are diving into the chaotic, really intense early life of a figure known as Xiaopeng, or Little Fatty, from the memoir The Great Challenge of Life.
Right.
And this is just a crash course in survival. He's forced to confront, literal ghosts on one hand, and then the deep moral traps of Taipei's underworld on the other.
Absolutely. And our mission here is really to track his transformation. This environment, constant danger, constant poverty is what forces him to develop this framework of radical self-reliance. We're looking at a young man who is just constantly shifting gears to stay alive.
Okay, so let's start with maybe the most unsettling part, the supernatural stuff. Xiaopeng lived near a man named Uncle Ollie.
The local tofu seller.
The tofu seller, right.
Yeah.
And his home was also this local spirit medium shrine. And the tragedy that hit his family was just horrifying.
It was a cascade. First, his wife died very suddenly. Then his adult son and daughter were found in these mysterious identical suicides.
You were tied together with red string, right?
Yeah, exactly. But what's really fascinating here is Xiaopeng's unique perspective. He could apparently see spirits.
So he saw something different happening.
Totally different. He realized the shrine's gods, the protectors like Mazu that people were praying to, they weren't benevolent at all. He described them as these dark, shadowy energy masses.
Energy masses.
Yeah, that would roll out of a local drainage ditch and then basically possess the medium.
Wait, so the source is suggesting that the entire spiritual center of the neighborhood, the place people went for comfort, was actually a source of death and corruption.
That's the takeaway.
Oops.
And the most chilling lesson comes when Uncle Ollie breaks the cardinal rule for survival. He tries to interact with this recurring local ghost.
The pink pajamas ghost.
That's the one. And without even being touched, Ali is seemingly electrocuted or just pushed off a bridge. He dies headfirst in the mud.
Wow.
So the rule was forged right there. Complete non-interaction. See the danger, but, don't ask, don't talk, don't look.
And that rule, spot the danger and stay away, it applied directly to his business life, too. He wasn't just surviving ghosts. He was surviving crushing poverty.
So he shifts hard. He moves from selling something simple like porridge to mastering oyster vermicelli noodles.
A much more complex dish.
Right, and he nailed the technical stuff first. The stock, the fried garlic, making sure the noodles didn't get soggy. But the real insight he had was much deeper than that.
You mean the Ling Qi, the spiritual energy?
Exactly. He realized success depends on the positive magnetic field, the good mood the seller generates. That's what attracts customers. A good product isn't enough. You need the right energy.
And it's so heartbreaking because he builds this successful business and then his gambling father just steals all the income.
And worse, provokes an arson attack. Two guys show up with coal oil, and the whole noodle stall is just gone, burned to the ground.
That trauma must have been the catalyst for what came next.
It was. It drove his next move, which was running a popular sugarcane splitting game.
A gambling front?
A very lucrative one. But it funneled him right into the local organized crime network. He basically became the de facto young boss for these powerful local leaders.
And here's that critical moment. He sees the path of his father laid out right in front of him, and he applies that same rule. Non-interaction.
He recognizes the trap.
He knew he had to pull back from the cliff, so he quit.
Which then led to his one legitimate success, racing pigeons. He won a pretty substantial amount, over 50,000 NTD.
Money for a clean start.
That was the plan. But the environment is just relentless. His powerful uncle steps in, not to help, but to force him directly into the construction side of the black society. Success itself became the next trap.
And the timeline here is just astonishing. We're talking about before he's even 17.
Yeah.
He's mastered cooking, gambling fronts, construction, carpentry, and then he becomes the youngest master painter in the area.
And he did that by learning to manufacture his own paints to cut costs. Necessity just drove every single one of those skills.
So the unifying theme is really self-reliance and spirit.
Yes. Whether you're dealing with literal ghosts or corrupt systems, the sources suggest that having the right attitude, that spirit, and trusting only yourself is the ultimate safeguard.
The sources bring up this idea that while environments often shape us, the crooked beam makes a crooked rafter. Personal wisdom can still lead to positive change. You get bad bamboo growing good shoots.
Right.
So for you listening to this, when you look at your own challenges, where do you draw that line? Where do you stop just accepting the influence